Yeah, so welcome everybody to the first day of a new week. I've lost count at this point. Was Pokemon hard? It depends on how your mental model of how input works is. That is kind of the core defining feature on if it's hard or not. So what you have to understand is that what is happening when you do a CN, what is happening when you do a get line. If you understand that, then it's really not that hard. But if you don't have a good mental model of like what happens when you do a get line, what happens when you do a CN, then yeah, it's going to be like throwing paint against the wall and hoping it sticks. So let's go over this. So let's say we've got CN, and you can read from CN or you can read from an input file. You know, like that'd be like an IF stream, or you can read from a string stream, a file, CN. They all work the same way. All of these are what are called stream inputs. When you have a stream input, you're given when the user types something in, or the file has data there, or from a string stream, it's just whatever's in the string. It doesn't matter. All of them work exactly the same way. When you do a double right arrow, it reads until it gets to a white space character and it stops. And the nice thing about this approach here is that there is no S2I needed, no STOI. Okay, why? Because it converts for you. What happens if you have this in your input buffer? Let's say you're using CN, but it doesn't matter. Reading from CN, reading from a file, reading from an input string stream, all works the same way. You just have one. It's like an array of characters. And when you do a double right arrow out of it, it reads until there's a white space character. In this case, this is a \T, which I can draw maybe a little bit more visibly for you. \T. And I'll put another \T in Galaxy font here. Okay. I need to stream. Oh, that's fair. There you go. And there you go. So if you've got a string stream, a file stream, or a CN, they all work the same way. They're just arrays of characters. Okay. And when you do a double right arrow into it, then all it does is it reads one character at a time until it gets white space. And if you're putting it into an int, it does the STOI for you, but with no exceptions thrown, which was a route that some of you took. So if we were to execute this line of code here, then what happens is it reads that 1, 0, 7, 8, then it sees the white space here and it stops. And so for the value in X, it converts the ASCII 1, ASCII 0, ASCII. It does the STOI conversion for you and puts the integer value of 1078 into X. Okay? Too focused, I know. But I do see the flickering chat over here, which captured my attention. So well done. There's like 3 different things that are going on. I got ODSF to make sure it's recording. I got OneNote, and then I got Discord, all kind of going at the same time. So, all right, does that make sense to you? Do you guys understand this? When you do double right arrow, it reads until white space and it leaves the white space there. You guys got that? And then whatever it reads, it does the conversion into the type int. This is int, and then S is a string. So we just finished that line. Let's say we do a get line. So we're going to get from CN. Again, the user typed in 1078 tab world tab return. So you can even have a new line in here, it doesn't matter. What happens next when we do this line of code here? It's going to read until the next tab character. What is S set to after this line of code here runs? It's going to read until the next tab character. S will be equal to what? Nope. 1, 0, 7, and 8 have all been pulled out of the input buffer. So when something gets pulled out of the input buffer, it's gone. Okay? So when we did this read here, cn into x, the 1, the 0, the 7, the 8, these are characters, and they just come out one at a time. That's why it's called a stream. It's like a flow of bytes coming at you, and it goes 1, 0, 7, 8. Oh, the next thing's a tab stop. And so it converts the 1, the 0, the 7, the 8 into the number 1078, puts into x, but when we say get line until the next tab, it's going to read until the next tab character, right? Yeah, so the first get line is going to read until the first tab character is read. So it just reads that. And so s is equal to empty string. Okay. This is the risk of mixing and matching double right arrow and get line, is that double right arrow reads until the white space but leaves the white space there. Get line eats the trailing white space. And so if you mix and match them, then you would be shocked to discover you have a empty string instead of world, right? And so that's one of the reasons why I wrote Readlib, my read library, is because it doesn't have that problem. Are you doing the thing again? You're doing the thing again where you can't select. Thank you, OneNote. Very cool. Appreciate it very much. Okay, so let's. What is going on with that? Some weird graphical glitches. Okay, so yeah, so s is currently empty string. Double quote, it's empty string. So now we do another get line. So what is s set to now? After that line of code runs. World, with or without the tab at the end of it. Is it world with the tab or without the tab? So what happens when we do a get line is that it will start reading from cn into s, so it'll copy them one at a time. So it'll copy the w, it'll copy the o, and this is an array also technically, r, l, d, and then when it gets to the tab, it throws it away and does not copy it. So s is equal to world no tab. Okay, it throws the tab away. And this is what makes it so useful when working with tab delimited data. This homework assignment that you were given is actually a real life assignment for like opening up a tab delimited data file, where you have data held in tab delimited columns, and you use get line repeatedly to get each column of data. So you have 1078 tab, world tab, you know, tab. So you just call get line over and over again. And all of this is going to be inside of, like up top, you've probably done another get line and converted this into a string stream. So rather than reading from cn, in reality, we would be reading from some string stream. So we would get line this entire line. Up top here, we would have like, I'll just do it in text because code looks a little better in text. So up top here, we'd do something like this, get line from the file into some string called line. So this reads a line from the file into a string, and then we convert the string string iss line, and so this converts the string into a stream that we could read from, and then we can do double right arrow from it. We can do get line from it. So rather than using cn, we use the string that we're reading from, because a string is just a sequence of characters. That's all these stream things mean. All these things that you see like if stream and string stream. What a stream is it means you get one character at a time from it. But if you use clever things like double right arrow reads until there's white space and leaves the white space. If you do a get line, it reads until the tab and eats the tab. Okay. You can't use get line until a remove. It reads until a specific character. Okay. It acknowledges the tab and then throws it away. Okay. And that's literally what this line here is literally designed exactly for reading from tab delimited data and things like that, where it reads from a string into another string and until a tab and then throws the tab away. Okay. So if you want to remove a word, like let's say that you're talking about like the type system where there's redundant data, then what you do is you just read into like trash or something. Do that twice. Something like this, string trash. So for the type system, the Pokédex number is redundant. The Pokemon name is redundant. I just read like that, except I don't use double right arrow. I use getLine. So for reading from the second file, I do this. I read from the string, so the Pokédex number goes into trash, and I do nothing with it. I then read from the file and get the Pokemon name. That goes in trash, I do nothing with it. And then I'm going to read into, you know, type 1 and type 2. String type 2 and trash. So this is what my code looks like to get from the second file. Okay. Okay. Now, do you understand the danger though of mixing and matching double right arrow and getLine? Because double right arrow will leave a leading tab, and so if you say read until a tab, it's like there's a tab, done, and it returns empty string. And so mixing and matching double right arrow and getLine is dubious. Dubious. I don't do it. Now, I'm going to show you a different way of doing this. And for those of you who are asking, for those of you that didn't get part 1 done, you need to copy main.cc into. I don't want to redo all of the Pokemon code, so I'm just going to start with this is your homework assignment. Okay. So here's your homework assignment, and I'll show you how I would read from those files using include /public/read.h. But in order to get that working, we need to first of all make our classes. So phase 1 in the Pokemon assignment is just to make a Pokemon. Describe what is a Pokemon. And I've told you, what it needs. So it needs to have an index. It needs to have a string. And then int HP, attack, defense, speed, and special. And then string type 1 and type 2. All right, so that's the class. Did you guys have trouble with that, or did that make sense to you? Because we're asking, what is a Pokemon? Well, a Pokemon is a collection of variables. It's got a Pokédex number, a name. You guys understand this part? Like, I feel like, okay, like this part. The hard part is parsing the file, and that's not. I'm not trivializing it. That's actually the hard part. Like, parsing files is a pain in the ass. It really is. I've been in situations before where the input is broken. There's like some of the lines are just like missing data and things like that. And so if your code assumes there's always going to be a number where there's not a number, guess what? It's like maybe you do it all with double right arrow, and give me the next number. Well, there isn't a number there, so it grabs the first number off the next line. So you have to use getLine and then split it like we're doing here. I've had triangle data held backwards, and so I had to write programs to read different 3D object file formats and fix them because all the faces were the wrong way. There were some in some 3D engines, clockwise means it's facing you, and some counterclockwise means it's facing you, and they did their modeling in the wrong tool and whatever. And so I wrote a program that opened up the triangle model data and reversed all the faces. It's a pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie about it. It took a solid hour or so to do. It is not a trivial task, you know. So, you know, don't let me minimize the amount of work you're doing here. So, so in Zybooks, there is public and private functions. We do not, I don't really go over that in this class. In this class, you can do everything you want to do with just having everything be public. In CSI 41, we learn about why you do data hiding and encapsulation and things like that. You're more than welcome to do it that way if you want. Now, I think I'm going to write a output, a double left arrow operator for Pokemon, because I kind of want to do this. I kind of want to just be able to see out a Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of want to do that, and it doesn't exist. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this code here, which tells you how to output a Pokemon. And I'm just going to go D3D, 1 Shift G, down here, P to paste, Shift O to open above, and I'm just going to make a friend O stream. And this is going to look like horrible garbage, but this is just a pattern you learn. If you want to teach C++ how the double left arrow operator works, how you want to output it, this will work with any output stream. It'll work with a file, it'll work with cout, it'll work with a string stream. It will teach C++ how to double left arrow a Pokemon. Okay, and so it takes an O stream on the left hand side, and it takes a Pokemon on the right hand side. So, do you know what I mean by left hand side and right hand side? Like if you say cout P, this is the operator, double left arrow. So the left hand side of the operator is cout, which is of type O stream, and P is of type Pokemon. It's on the right side. So this is kind of mind-shattering looking. It'd be nice if they called it like print or something. I don't know, but this will do it, and we don't want to be using out. Cout, we want to be using outs. CW outs. And we don't want the end line here. Okay, so with this code in place, we can just write code that looks like this. We can just say, yo, cout a Pokemon. And this is what it'll print. So it's a little nicer, right? This code already existed down in the bottom of main, but I just put it up here so when I'm doing the homework assignment, I can just kind of cout my Pokemon and just kind of see what I got right now. The problem a lot of students were having was that they weren't couting all the things, you know. And so the thing's not working and they don't know why. My code's crashing. Okay, where? I don't know. Is it in the Pokemon load database or the move database? I don't know. Like, well, why don't you? Like, you gotta know. You gotta put a cout in there. Like, just print out, hey, I'm about to go into the Pokemon load database. Hey, I'm about to go into the move load. You know, just know. You know, just you can drop a cout in and bracket. You can bracket where the thing is crashing pretty quickly. Or you can learn to use a debugger, one or the other. So, also in order to compile, we have to get move working. So, add member variables for each of these. Well, it's pretty easy. Hopefully this didn't take you too long. Okay, so there's our move database, our move object. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to load the Pokemon database, and I want to show you how I would solve this homework assignment using my read library. Because my read library, I feel, is a little bit nicer than what comes with C++. Okay, so we got our file here. I don't have these files, do I? Because I'm just in my home directory. So I'm going to copy Pokemon.txt into my home directory, copy types.txt into my home directory. Tilde is your home directory, of course. So .cc. Okay, so now I've got Pokemon.txt, types.txt. So this code here, if you want to print a class, yeah, toString function, yeah. Yeah, that's something I really like about Java, is that Java has a built-in print function. And JavaScript even, if you don't, it'll just come up with a way of printing your things. It'll print in JSON format, right? Right, Mr. Bill? If you just like console out an object, it'll just JSON it for you. Yeah. So it's nice. It's nice having a built-in print function. I will definitely give that to JavaScript, which is not something I do that often. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to load from Pokemon.txt and types.txt. So the way I showed you was using getLine and then splitting it using tabs and stuff like that. I'm going to do it a slightly different way. So I'm going to make a brand new Pokemon named P. It's completely empty. And at the very bottom of the function, if everything goes okay, I'm going to say Pokemon db.pushback P. So I'm going to add P to the Pokemon database after it's loaded, if everything goes well. So first thing is Pokemon's index. I'm going to read that from the file. So Readlib has a function called read and readline. That's basically about it. And read reads a single word or variable, and readline is like getLine, but it interoperates with read. Whereas with cn and getLine, they don't. They do not play nicely with each other. JavaScript tries random things till something happens. Yeah. What is string 1 plus string 1? What is string 1 minus string 1? Okay. So that's the index. Then after that, it's the name, right? P.name. And now for this one, we need to handle MrMime, right? Because MrMime will get you. So for this one, we need to do a read line. So you're going to read from the file until a tab character is read. So that will read all the names in the Pokemon name. Then after that, we have HP. And then after that, attack. Defense. Speed. Special. All right, and then let's just see out what we got and just see if it looks good. And then system is marked as no discard. So on line 92, some idiot marked system as no discard. No discard means it'll warn you if a function returns a value and you're not capturing the return value. And so system returns whether it returns the exit code. Like, you know how main returns 0? System runs a program and then takes the return value. I don't care about the return value. If Figlet fails, I don't care. I really don't care. So I'm just going to say int whatever. And then since it's going to warn if whatever is not used, it's going to set it equal to itself, whatever. Okay. So that's just some nonsense to turn off that warning. Okay. And there you go. Do you want to use a Gen 1 Pokemon? Yes. Okay. So you can see we got Bulbasaur. Okay. And then where's MrMime? $128? No. Ah, there, 122. Yeah. So MrMime came through okay. Okay. So we don't have our types. We don't have our types in them. Okay. So So the problem with the types file is that it's not technically tab delimited. And I didn't realize this before I gave it to you, but oh well. Like I said, I just scraped this from a website. So technically, there's not a tab at the very end there. There's just a new line. So what we're going to do, and the real tricky bit here is that there's sometimes one type and there's sometimes two types. So we're going to do this one. We're going to do this one properly. So we're going to string line. We're going to read a line from the second file. So the second file is types.txt, right? So it's one Bulbasaur plant type and then nothing. Okay, so we're going to read that entire line containing one Bulbasaur plant into a string, and then we're going to use string streams to split it. Okay. Do you really have a tab? I don't remember. I don't know. Actually, that's a good point. Maybe that is tab delimited. I actually don't remember. But the trouble is, if you read until a tab and there's no tab, then it reads until the next file. So we have to use string streams in order to contain the damage. So if we try reading off the end of a line, if we do a get line like this and it's turned into a string stream, we can't read past the end of the line. Yeah, it's a very common bug. So we are now going to do an istream, stream, ISS, line, like that. So this reads, like 001 Bulbasaur plant or whatever. Turns that line into a string stream. Some of you were doing it in the opposite order like this. That doesn't work. So I don't think it should work. So you read a line in, you convert it to a string stream, and when you convert it to well, it's not really converted. You make a string stream out of it. And then you can now read from that line a character at a time, just like you're reading from the file. But if you try reading off the end of the line, it doesn't read the next line, which is why we do that. Which is why we go through this whole rigmarole in the first place. And if you ever got stuck on the last homework assignment, like, the lectures that I go through kind of give you all the tools you need to solve it. And if your code's like different from my code, try doing it my way. Could you do istring stream readline? Oh, you could. Yeah. I like that. Okay. It's gonna readline. There you go. Brilliant. I like it, and that's why I like my read libraries. That you can do compounding function calls. Okay, so let's let's say we had this, like character C, and we read from the string stream into C and then just like outputted it or something. So it's going to read the first character. This is going to read the first character of every line from file 2. Just to show you what this is going to look like. So all of these are hundreds. These are all zeros. So do you see what's happening here? Like we have 001, 002, and all the hundreds start with a 1. So what's happening here is we read a line and turn that into a string stream. Then I'm just reading the first character from it. But that's not what I want, obviously. What I want is like an int called trash, because I don't care about it. So I'm going to read the Pokedex number from the line, and I'm calling it trash because I'm not going to use it. I could verify that it's the same as this index, and in my solution I did in fact do that, but string trash 2 is equal to readline ISS until a tab. read the Pokemon name. And that I'm also calling trash because I'm not doing anything with it. You just have to read into it to throw it away. Now I'm going to read the two types. So I've got string type 1. And type 2. And that should do it. Note that you can mix and match read and read line. You can't do this with double right arrow and get line. They don't play nicely with each other. Okay, so Porygon is normal, Omentite is rock and water, Tritini is dragon and flying, water and ice and Dugong. That's it. So that is the first half of the Pokemon assignment. You have to do the same thing for moves. Moves is a little more annoying, because it's got M dashes and things like that. Do you guys want to see me do the moves database? The moves database is a little more annoying than the Pokemon database. Yeah, but do you guys understand this? So a lot of you are crashing with string to integer, and that'll happen if your string is empty or if the first letter of the string is not a number or something like that. This is using the read library, yeah, which I made because it's a lot nicer than CN and getline. Yep. So, but I wanted you guys to do the standard library way because when you go to other companies, they're not going to have my read library. I guess you can install it, but it's important to know the standard library and why it sucks. So let's do the move database. So okay, what we got up here? We got a move. Okay, so we're gonna make a new move M. At the very bottom, we're gonna go move db dot push back M. So we're gonna fill out. So when we create this, everything's undefined or empty strings or something. And as we read from the file, we're gonna put into this little temporary variable here a name, an index, a category, etc., etc. Okay. And then if we get to the end and there's no M dashes or anything, we're gonna push back. If we encounter an error, then we're going to throw it away and move on to the next line. Day 1, get clone Kearney read. Yeah. That's fair. Okay. So we've got our file open here. So we are going to do a string line. Yeah. Let's just do Bell's idea. Okay. So we're going to read a line. Reads a line from moves.text and makes a string stream out of it. Okay, so m.index is going to be equal to read ISS. So that's going to read the integer out of the moves file. m.name we're going to read it until a tab. So this is what the file looks like, right? So we want to read a number, then a name, then a string, then a string, then a number, then a number, then a number, and we can discard the percentage. Okay. And if we ever get an M dash, then throw the move away. Okay. So this one's a little bit more tricky because the M dashes can kind of appear anywhere, you know. And so, or maybe they appear, let's see, is it send attack, ground, send. Maybe it appears here. So if you just try reading that as an integer, it's going to crash on you, right? If you do string to integer, so you have to check first to see if it's an m dash. So I'm just going to duplicate my session. I'm going to snap you over to the right hand side. Okay, now I can just kind of look at it. So the first thing we're going to do, so we're going to read a line, like we're going to read a whole line at once and turn it into a string stream. And then you can read from that string stream, you can read from the string as if it was a string, right? We're going to read from this string here, or whatever, whichever line we're on. Yeah, yeah, you can do that. So the first thing we're going to do is read the index number. We're then going to read the name. And then the next one is the type. Okay, so Thunder Punch is 2 words. Yeah, so that needs to be a read line because that's a tab delimited file. Because the next one's the type. And I think we could do that either with read or with read line, because I think all the types are just 1 word, but no reason not to do that. Category is physical or special. And then if the category equals spécial, continue. And so, index category, sorry. So if the value read in was special, we continue. What continue does, it goes up to the top of the loop and just moves. This gets thrown away, doesn't get added to push, it doesn't get pushed back. Just goes up to the top of the loop and reads another line, converts it into a string stream, and we just start in on the next one. So if we ever discover an error in our input, we just continue. It's very simple. Very simple error handling. You could die, you know, like if you wanted to explode if any of the moves weren't valid, but in professional software, you generally don't quit your program, you know, for minor things like that. You might log it. That's actually pretty common too. Like, hey, we couldn't load headbutt or something. Yeah. It's kind of a funny name if you think about it, headbutt. Okay. Rage quit the program. Yeah. In Big Bear, there's a street called Butte. And so one of the log cabins there says Butte Heads, which I thought was kind of clever. Okay, so category next is PP. M.pp, capital PP, equals read from the input string. Next is power. Now for this one, for this one, I think I want to read it as a string first. Technically, I don't have to, just because my read library is awesome that way. But I want to show you kind of how I would do it if I was in your shoes. So string power pow, can't call it pow. String pow. Read. Okay, so that's going to read the string. And so for actual numbers, it'll be like 70, double quote, 70, double quote. And what we want to do is say if pow, I really don't like that name. I'll just call it temp. So if temp.size equals 0, so if we didn't read anything, or temp.at0 is not a digit, or if not is digit, temp.at0, continue. So you don't have to copy and paste the m dash this way. So basically, if what is in this column is anything but a number, then we do that. If it's all cool, then we say m.power equals stoy thing, like that. So stoy will crash if it's an empty string. Stoy will crash if the first character is not a digit. So with those two things, it'll guarantee not crash. Power PWR, yeah. And then we'll do the same for accuracy, because accuracy could be a hyphen also, or m dash technically. But I'm just going to go m dot, whatever, okay. And then for the last one, it's not power, it is accuracy. And you might be like, but wait, what if I tried converting this string that holds 100% into an integer? Won't that crash? Nope, it won't. Stoy only cares the first character is a digit. It does not care if any subsequent characters are digits or not. If you try converting 100% to an int, it will turn into 100. It will not crash. So that is that. Yeah, so you can actually just completely ignore it. It's fine. All right. And then we'll just see out and which we don't know how to do. So let's teach C++ how to output a move. Okay, else cout the move, and you will become a friend ostream operator double left arrow ostream operator outs. And this one is going to take on the right hand side a const move by reference m. If this looks very formulaic to you, it is. It absolutely is. So this is just a pattern that I have memorized. Like, I don't expect you to memorize it. I expect you to copy and paste it from other people. It's a little bit too big and complicated to memorize. But when you do this, what's going to happen is that when you try saying like cout m, let's get rid of the new line. You normally don't put an end line in a double left arrow operator so that you could do this. Could you write a print function in the class? Sure, you could. Yeah. But in C++, we use cout double left arrow, so you can do that. Or you can have the double left arrow just called print. It's fine too. So if you ever wanted to print a move, then like if you ever wanted to do that in your code, then I fully expect you to just copy and paste this. I don't expect you to write it from memory. Okay. And then it's going to write to the stream. It's going to be cout. All this stuff. Yeah, it's something I have memorized, but probably shouldn't. Okay, so here is the move thing. Let's see if it came through correctly. Move index 153, explosion. Let's see over here. Explosion is normal physical. Normal physical, PP of 5, power of 250, accuracy of 100%. Fury swipes here. Normal, physical, 15 PP, 18 power, 80% accuracy. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. That was Pokemon Part 1. Okay. So for Pokemon Part 2, you are going to be given this, essentially. You're going to be given a working Pokemon Part 1. And yeah, I mean, technically I should pull that out. And pull that out. Okay. So now it's Working Pokemon Part 1. But do you see how I was like printing out the things as I went along? Print Pokemon for 1, Bulbasaur, okay. Yeah, printing things as you go along is just something you need to be doing. And just making sure that as you read something, you print it. And just make sure that you're getting what you thought you're getting. But the biggest thing in this homework assignment is that if you didn't have a good mental model for like how reading from a stream works, it's very difficult because you end up just copying and pasting code and hoping it works and stuff like that. So, okay. So let's talk about your next homework assignment. The next homework assignment is hands down the fan favorite, the student's favorite homework assignment. Mr. Bell, you know what's coming, right? Where Ada and a bunch of alumni get together and give the thumbs up and the thumbs down. Image processing, yeah, it is. It's a homework assignment that I created. One of my top students back in 2016 was a photography major or something like that, and so she suggested doing something that would be relevant to her as a photography major, and I was like, what about a Photoshop filter? We can have students make Photoshop filters, and so the best, hardest, easy assignment, yeah. So this homework assignment is very hard to fail. The only way you can fail this homework assignment is if you go like, it seems too hard, and you just don't do it. Don't be that student. This homework assignment is literally almost impossible to fail because it is an artistic assignment. Okay. You're going to do it in partners. You're going to do it in partnered groups, and you're going to have until Wednesday to come up with a group of 2 or 3. Each partner in the assignment is going to make their own Photoshop filter. Now, we're not using Photoshop. We don't have Photoshop. We don't have Photoshop installed on the server. We are going to edit the images directly. So for this assignment, you will be you'll start with an image, okay, and you find the image yourself, and then you write a program that modifies the image. Okay. So let me show you what turn it blank. Yeah. So you're graded on 2 things. It's like ice skating. You're graded on the artistic and technical merits. So there's 5 points for technical difficulty and 5 points for artistic merit. If you turn the whole thing white or black, you get 0 because it's neither artistically interesting and it is not technically difficult either. So here are some assignments from change it to the GIMP filter assignment. Yeah, well, technically it's just called image processing. We support free and open source. That's right. Well, I mean, this is free and open source, and we're not supporting Adobe. So here's an example. So this group found a picture of what I assume is the Gion district in Kyoto. I'm like 80-90% sure I ate there 3 years ago. Mr. Bell, do you recognize this? This does look like Gion, doesn't it? I could be wrong. There's a lot of places in Japan that look like this. Kind of looks like it. Probably located based on that tower. Something around there, yeah, fairly generic whole street. Okay, so anyway, so this is their starting image. And then each partner on the assignment is going to write 1 image filter. Okay? And if you are a bad programmer, you can do a simple image filter. If you're a great programmer, you can do an awesome one. And what happens is each partner does a different filter, and they all kind of stack together. Okay, so here's the original image, and when you upload it, you upload the original plus the first filter, the original plus the first filter and the second filter, the original plus the first filter and the second filter and the third filter. So you upload all of the images. So here it is after the first image filter. So the person sort of did a washout filter on it, and then they added some rectangles to make a little logo up here and the initials of the team, #FCA. And oh yeah, that's cool. So that's an edge detection. It looks like. So if you difference the pixel values, and if they're above a threshold, you put black there or something like that. Okay, so the second person did this. So they took the result of the first person and added saturation to it, essentially. And then for the third person, there we go. For the third person, they inverted it. So original, first, second, third. Color inversion is very basic technically, so not very impressive. Also artistically, nah. You know, if you ever see your professor doing that, you know, that's yeah. Okay. So yeah, artistically, you know, you can do better than that. Ori in the Blind Forest. This is Corrente's. So he made the center part black and white. Black and white's very easy to do. In fact, I give you code to do it black and white, so you don't get any credit for turning back into me code that I give you. Okay. So don't just like I have a SepiaToning filter. Don't just like SepiaTone and be like, there you go. No. Yeah, you have to do something, right? And so what Corrente did was he added the black and white filter just to specific ranges of this image from Ori in the Blind Forest. So the center part here is black and white. The outer part is black and white. It looks nice. It's got a good artistic sensibility to it. Technically, it's okay. Like, it got some if statements, you know, up in here. If the row is below 50, if the row is above 150, something like that. All right, and then the second filter here is kind of a washout filter, like that. So it's a not quite grayscale. You can still see there's some oranges and reds and greens and things like that in there, but it's mostly washed out. It's a nice effect. It's a nice look. Original, filter 1, filter 2. Filter 2 is SepiaToning, so no points for that one. But this is a nice look. So this one makes it look like a 1970s sci-fi book cover. The only trouble is this part right here. So that part right there looks like garbage. And I kind of have a rule in this class: no integer overflow, no deep fried memes. When I see something like that, I'm like, there's a bug in your software. So, do you have everyone's for as long as you've done this assignment? Yeah, I have every submission ever since 2017 or something like that. If they had selected the boat and had it not affected by the filter, it would have been cool. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it would have been. As it was, whatever image filtering they were doing caused the sails to blow out, and it just looks bad. So the rest of it, I'm actually very impressed by the rest of it, but the artistic on the boat, I would give this probably a B, something like that overall. And then SepiaToning is 0 difficulty whatsoever. So even though it's a partnered assignment, each partner is responsible for their own filter. And normally that doesn't matter. I normally just kind of give the same points to everybody in the group, but whoever was that did this literally took my Sepia filter that I gave them and just ran it and turned it into me. So that's 0 points. You can't just run my code. But that one is nice. So that's actually a really good look. It's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, see that? So here's the input image. And then, yeah, you got blood in the water. The blood in the water before is like almost unnoticeable. Now it's like popping. The ship is this golden color. Like, I think maybe they just did the SepiaToning to like blend it with that one or something. Yeah. So overall, you know, if this was their final product, because you can see the deep fried meme look here, they got rid of it. And so, yeah, overall I'd say this is A+. A plus, except for whoever it was that did this. If this was their entire contribution, then they get no points. But overall, yeah, A plus. And so, did they fix the deep fry? Maybe. Like, that'd be a point where I'd look at it and be like, are they compositing the 3 layers together? Because if they are to get this effect, yeah, then everyone wins. But if they just had 3 people doing 3 separate image filters, then this person would get a B, this person would get an F, and this person would get an A++. I give out lots and lots of extra credit on this assignment. And, basically if you just impress me with difficulty in art, then, yeah, lots of extra credit. So here we have like an Alpine Meadow, and then they inverted it, which is... I don't know. And then they made the clouds smog, except you can see here you got this deep fried look here where it's not a great look. Overall, if they had been able to make it smoggy without exploding these peach colored pixels through the sky, it would be a lot more impressive to me. I'm showing this so you can kind of get an idea of how I judge these assignments. So, Doublemaker 5, original image, and then this filter is actually quite nice. Like, that is actually, it's probably a pretty simple filter too, to be perfectly honest. Like, this is probably not technically difficult to do, but beautiful. Okay, and then they just added yellow to it, right? So not very technically demanding. Adding the yellow actually blew out the edges here, so you can't see it actually kind of destroyed the detail in the image. And then they added a hashtag and 2 lines, which, yeah, that's like D-level work right there. That one's A-level, I would say. And it's very simple. Very simple to do. It's a beautiful, beautiful look. Simple code. Let's look at an A. And for this one, yeah, don't make it look garbage. Yeah. What is the extra credit? I just like your work. It's completely subjective. And we have a panel of judges, Mr. Bell and Min Curley, and my daughter. I usually pull my daughter out of school and have her judge the image filters. Don't tell my wife. I'll have her, sitting here, and so students who know that, like, a 5-year-old, she's 9 now, but like she's been doing this since she was 5. Like, knowing that a 5-year-old is going to be judging their work, or on the panel of judges. Like, they tried doing like My Little Ponies and stuff, and she's like, like she was not easy to pander to. Evangelion though, she does like Evangelion, so that might be a hint. So the first filter here, they put a little white square around the inner part, and they lightened it. So that's nice. And they have the hashtag, and they have a little happy face down there. So yeah, that's A-level work right there. A-level. And then the second filter is all the area around it. You see that? So they did the Fresno air filter. And this is the right way of doing it. You see the difference between, this, which you can see the posterization effect and things like that. It's just not, it just doesn't look good. It's not technically good. It's not artistically good. Here, they added the Fresno air effect, and they only affected the area outside of the portrait, which is nice. Right? So that, A++, 120%. Easily. Okay. Is there only a limited number of people that can get extra credit? No. Not all. Although we do vote on who is the best, and that one gets an extra letter grade on top of all the other extra credit. So if you did poorly on the Pokemon assignment, then double down on this one, and it is a 20-point assignment, and it's really easy. So you can spend 5 minutes on it to get a C or a D or something, or you can really go hardcore on it, make something that looks nice, and that will make up most of the points you missed for the Pokemon Part 1. How would you guys grade this one? You want the gladiator thumbs down? Sure. Lightly fried. Yeah. 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 And then they added scan lines to it, which I thought was actually quite clever. Like, do you guys see that? How they added scan lines? Because, like, on old televisions, TVs would draw from left to right like that. And that I actually thought was kind of clever. It's not too technically demanding, but it's like, yeah, okay, I see what you're going for there. The black and, I don't know, the color scheme, it just doesn't work for me. That's a little better. That's a little better. It's still kind of garish. Pink and green is, I don't know. Probably give that one a B or something. C maybe. All right, so we got a flamenco dancer here, and then she's an orc or something. I don't know. I think this one would be better if they. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know what they're doing, and I kind of get what they're doing, but I don't know. It doesn't work that well. And then they added a vignette effect to it, so you can see the vignette added shadowing, so the edges are darker and the center is lighter. So. And it kind of matches the slash of light in the image, right? Because you can see the image kind of has a diagonal look to it, and they match that, which is it's a good look. Overall, I'd give that an A probably. Not anything higher than that though. Yep. It's a good look. It's a good look. Quite good. Quite good. Yeah. Yeah. A++. Easy. Not even that hard. Not even that hard, but it's a good, clean look. This one is warmer. This one is cooler. It changes the mood, and that's what I'm trying to get through to you. Like, artistically, like, you know, what's happening in this image, you know. And yeah, both of those are really good. You can choose any image you want. Yeah, I mean, you can see there's quite a lot of variety. Here we got Mario Kart ukiyo-e, and we got Mario with a fire flower, and Bowser throwing a squid at Mario, and Toad's pulling the cart, and their filter was to add rainbows behind the image, that's A++ effort right there. They colorized the area behind the people in the foreground. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So they made Rainbow Road, obviously, right? So A+++. Yeah, 130% there. And then the second filter was to sort of wash it out and turn it into sort of like a faded ukiyo-e look. Technically, purples weren't very common back then, but yeah, I'm not gonna mark you down because you didn't leave in the Prussian blue ink they used. So yeah, A++ effort right there. Yeah, you can use any image you want within reason. Obviously, don't have too much nudity or something like that. You know, it's a college class, but you know, use your common sense on it. Too much. One of my favorite ones from the first year was a crawfish standing against a bowl of crawfish, and he's saying, "Why don't you stand?" What was the quote from Warhammer? Stand upon the corpses of a trillion dead and see if honor still matters, or something like that. I don't know. It's quite funny. Yeah, so you can do humor. You can, you know, but basically you're graded completely subjectively on difficulty and on artistic merit. And we just have judges, and we just confer, and we're like, that's an 8 out of 10. Okay, it's an 8 out of 10. You know, we and then whoever it is that is the top 3, we usually put it up to the class, and they can vote on who they think the grand prize winner should be. And the grand prize winner just gets 1 extra letter. It's not that big a deal. Okay. So, how does this work? So, there's a couple things you have to know. Should you message me your groups, just hold off on that until Wednesday. Okay. On Wednesday, we'll get the group set up. What I want to talk about first is how you get files to and from the server. There is a software product on Windows called WinSCP that stands for the Windows Secure Containment Protocol, or Secure Copy Protocol, one or the other. And you just type in your host name, username, password, all that kind of stuff. And then when you connect, it looks like this. You can partner with people from the 12 o'clock class. Sure, I don't see why not. And then what you end up with is you got your local computer over here. You got the remote directory over there. You're going to just CD into you can double click on these things and move around. You can then drag a file over. So let's see what files we got here. A bunch of people on Cyber. That's funny. Okay, yeah, that'll work. All right, so if I wanted to drag that over, you just do that, and then it transfers the file to the server. Now, it's already been pushed out to you. It's in the image processing directory. So I'm going to go over into my image processing directory, image processing reference. It's not auto-graded; it's all graded by hand. And you can see over here the file I just copied over was image1650.jpg. And the way that you run the code is you type a.out and you give it a command line parameter. A command line parameter looks like this. You don't just run a.out, you run a.out and you give it the name of an image file. It then loads the image. It runs, this is just me, so there's only one filter in it, but you might have 2 or 3. And then it writes it. And it's going to write it to, your files are written to filter1.jpg, filter2.jpg, filter. Mine, it just writes to a file called output.jpg, like that. And then over here in WinSCP, I can just right click on it and choose open. And then that will show me the image after the image processing filter has been applied to it. So you can see that lavender plant is now quite different looking, right? And I'm calling them Photoshop filters. There's no Photoshop involved. Okay, so you don't know how to do it on Mac. Mr. Bell does, if he's still here, which he is not. So let's become Shook. Go to image processing, and so you compile the software by typing make, and there's a noticeable lag on the first time you compile it. The reason for that is the CImage library that we use, which is I don't know how to, I mean, I do technically, but not really, know how to open a JPEG file. And I'm fairly confident that I, who studied multimedia systems in college, wouldn't want to write the code to open a JPEG file. I'm pretty sure you guys don't either. And so what I've done was I've downloaded a library that opens JPEGs and saves JPEGs and things like that. And what I did was I wrote code that opens the JPEG file, and then it reads from the image into a vector of vectors. So basically for every row, for every column on the image, there's 3 values, red, green, blue. These values range from 0 to 255. And so 255, 255, 255, white. 0, 0, 0, black. 255, 0, 0, red. 0, 255, oops, sorry, 0, green. 0, 0, 255, blue. So depending on how you, and we'll talk more about this on Wednesday, but that's it. So I hand you, and if you open up filter1.cc, you put your name here, your partner might be on filter 2, whatever. I hand you a, this is what I pass you. I pass you a vector of vectors. And you say for every row, for every column, and we just do some demo code here, like this. Actually, let's comment this out so Shook doesn't lose the other demo code. Okay. So this code says for every row, for every column, at this row, at this column, the red value will be increased by 30%. 50%. I don't know why the comment says 50%. Okay. And the green will be doubled. Okay. And the blue will be halved. Okay. So this is an image filter. That's it. That's all there is. You're given an array of colors, and then you can just mess with the colors. Could you ask the user for input and make them parameters? I guess, but you're gonna have to upload something at the end of the day. So, yeah. So at each point in the image, at every row, at every column, the red value is going to be increased by 50%. The green is going to be doubled. The blue is going to be halved. Save. Compile. And now we can test our code. So I've written an image viewer that works inside of PuTTY, which is one of my more obscure accomplishments. The image viewer that runs inside of PuTTY is called the SepiaToning. And so you can run, so there's a couple, let's see, ls/public/star.jpg. When this video will be due next Wednesday. So on Wednesday, you will be given your groups, and you'll have 1 week to do it. And it is really not that bad. So there's some sample images up in here that you can use. So if you run your program and pass in public, let's show you the image viewer first. So SepiaToning/public/harambe.jpg, so that you can see inside of PuTTY it renders a low res, 8-bit version of Harambe, although in millions of colors, of course. And then if we run our image filter on it, if you run it by itself, it says no, you have to give it a command line parameter. So I'm going to say a.out/public/harambe, and then it writes the thing to disk, and you can see here October 25th at a second ago it just wrote this file. Okay, and so if we asadi filter1.jpg, then you can see that it's like really green now. Probably because we doubled the amount of green in it. Right. Would there be a way to turn every white pixel black? Sure. Use an if statement. If this pixel is white, this pixel is now black. And if you want to have better resolution, by the way, you can use WinSCP to copy this to your home computer. I just right-click on them and choose Open like that. You don't have to copy back and forth. You can view the results. Or if you want to be really clever and you don't want to get out of PuTTY, you can lower the font size of PuTTY. And the lower the font size, the more resolution you get. So if we asadi filter1.jpg, then you can see there's more detail to beautiful Harambe's face. And if we run this on the original one, you can see the original /public/Harambe. There's the original thing. So you can use that if you don't want to copy files in and out constantly. You just kind of want to get a rough draft. If you set your font size to 1, by the way, it'll give you a full resolution image. It's kind of fun. Okay. So yeah, there's Harambe as a demo file, and there's Kyoto. And, you can use asadi to just do a quick view inside of PuTTY, or you can use WinSCP and copy the files back and forth. It's your choice. Okay, so just think about who you want to partner with, and then on Wednesday we will go over more of the details on doing the assignment. PuTTY, by the way, slows down like crazy if you draw too many pixels on the screen. I did send in a bug report to the PuTTY people saying that PuTTY crashes if you try displaying 4K images inside of it, and I never heard back for some reason. I'm not sure why. Presumably because you're not supposed to use PuTTY as an image viewer, but it works. So. Any questions? With if statements and for loops and math, algebra, you can make your own Photoshop style filter. Where do I put a Sadie? Harambe.jpg to see my child every time I log in. I will do that for you right now, Portnoy. So if you vim your .cchrc file, this gets run every time you log in. And so we'll simply say Sadie /public /Harambe JPEG. Oh, that's mine. Oops. Well, duplicate session. Could not find the command. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Okay, which, let's see, it's in public, yeah. So you have to give the full path name here. Okay. Yep, so when I log in, there you go. Pretty funny, I think. I don't know. So yeah, just do that, and every time you log in, it'll display the beautiful face of Harambe for you. One partner can do all partners need to have an exceptional image. What I care about is the final product. I only give partners separate grades if one partner like clearly didn't do anything. You know, like if you just like return a black screen or do one of my codes that I give you, like no, I don't give you points. But yeah, in general, everybody on the group gets the extra credit. Is there a way to apply two filters within the same program? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. We'll talk more about this on Wednesday. But yeah, there's filter 1, filter 2, filter 3, and they stack on top of each other. So, this is the best thing I've learned so far. Yeah. Certainly the most broadly applicable thing. How do you display Harambe when you log in? Okay, so that's it for today, guys, and we will talk more about the assignment on Wednesday. Like I said, for now, just partner up and take a look at the README file if you want, or you can start working on it if you want. But we'll go through it on Wednesday. Okay. All right. Peace out. I'll see you next time.